Welcome to Winning on Wednesday. My name is Juan Vitas, and the purpose we're here is to simply get to know each other. I always say people do business who they know, like, and trust. And Winning on Wednesday meets at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we're there to grow and expand and promote your brand. And also, I have today a special guest, one of my good friends, Ross Lesser. Hey, Ross, how you doing?
Good, Juan. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So just quickly tell us give us the elevator pitch, as they say. Quickly tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Ross Lesser, and I work for a company called Carjoy. We are a full service auto concierge company. So we help people get into vehicles at a much cheaper price, more efficiently. Um, and, we make the car buying process a joy.
Excellent. Thank you. So tell us, take us way back. Where did you grow up? Where did it all begin?
So I grew up in the late 70s, early, 70s, 80s. I grew up in Suffolk County in Comac, and times were definitely much different back then. There was really no technology, and just had a lot of friends, and it was just a real simple time back then.
Yeah, one of my best friends lives in Quebec, so it's a great area. It's very family oriented, you said, and it's a lot of people get involved with that. So it's a
Yeah, I
nice
have to
area.
say I definitely had a really nice childhood.
Excellent, excellent. And when you were growing up, did you have any role models or anything, anything that anyone's inspired you when you were growing up?
Yeah, like my dad was always a role model to me. I always watched him and see the things that he did, and it just kind of inspired me to do the things that really opened up in my life, as far as sports, and you know just watching him. I sort of just kind of molded myself to what he did, and he was just always a big inspiration to me.
Oh, that's great. And what about any other hobbies? Do you have any hobbies or interests?
Yeah, so I mean, I love to play golf, and I went to college playing on a full golf scholarship. um as far as detailing, I love to detail cars. It's just always been a passion of mine. When you're detailing cars, it's kind of like your mind just kind of goes, and you just don't think about anything, other than what you're doing.
So tell us about your car. What was your first car?
Uh, my first car was a 1986 Toyota Celica GTS.
Here it
And
is, folks. Just
yeah,
for the
there it
folks out
is.
there it is, your original car.
Yeah, that thing was, I thought that was like the greatest thing on earth. When I got it, it had the
It,
spoiler in the back, it had the pop-up lights.
it,
It was just,
a two-seater with the little nothing in the back, right? I mean, it was a four, but there was nothing in the back, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. It was
And the lights came up.
the lights were like back in those days, like the pop-up lights were like the
The,
greatest thing ever.
there were the things, yeah. So this was
Yeah.
more of a sporty car. That's nice that you had that.
Yeah, and I would sit in my driveway and wash that thing like 2, 3 times a week, and my mother would always say, "What are you doing? You're gonna wash the paint right off of the car."
Wow. So tell us about your first job. How was that like your first job and and take us that journey from where you're doing, your first job to
So
what you're doing now.
my first job, I think I was like, it was my senior year in high school, because I was so like sports oriented. I didn't really have time to work. But my senior year of high school, I think, my first job was in a supermarket. I was slicing deli meats in the deli counter, and maybe after a few months of that, I sliced like a piece of my thumb off.
Ooh.
Well, just the skin. I didn't actually slice my thumb off.
Yeah.
And after that, let's just say I didn't do that anymore.
Yeah. Please hold the Ross on the side.
Yeah, exactly, right.
But so so after that, where did you go after that? You went to from the deli to
I worked at a driving range, because
mm,
I was always into golf. My father played golf every Saturday morning. He had a foursome that he was like a member at a country club, and he would play with the same guys I think he played with the same three guys for probably 15, 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I watched him play, and I just really got into the game, but I didn't get into it until I was like, like 12 or 13.
I see. And then from there you went to you said you went to well, from the driving range. What else did you do for there?
I mean, that was pretty much it. I mean, because when I graduated high school, I went to college on a full golf scholarship.
Wow, that's amazing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I went
Full
to
golf.
college to Nova Southeast University in Fort Lauderdale.
Excellent, excellent. That's a pretty amazing that you turned that you went to for a scholarship and
Yeah, yeah. So I played 2 years of 2 years of college golf, and then I turned pro.
oh wow.
And then I played a few of the mini tours down in Florida, and that was pretty much it.
For people out there, just so you know, the way that I met Ross, I remember when we first met, I had a ticket for a golf outing. I had no idea that you were a professional golfer, by the way. And I was playing with you and I'm like, what the hell? I was just like, I was still trying to find my balls. Like it was amazing. You just like kept hitting those balls, whacking it. I was like, wow, like oh my goodness, like I had no idea that you were once a pro, but you just took me by surprise. You definitely wowed me that day at the golf course, by the way.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, I
But
mean, I always, even after golf, always just I tried to play, even recreationally. I played at least like once or twice a week. Not so much anymore, but I just love to play. It's just you're out on the golf course, you forget about all your problems, and you're just doing what you love.
exactly. I wanted to get this moment of this, the golden nugget moment. And if there's any information that you want to leave behind that you learned from your career, somebody to be a better person, what's a piece of advice you could give that you share with us today?
I mean, the one thing that I've learned in the 25 plus years, being a salesperson, is that relationships are the most important thing. Building relationships, um, being able to mirror that customer when you're talking with them, try to find something that you have in common with that customer, and just the consistency. As long as you're consistent and you just keep on plugging, because that you're going to get a lot of no's in sales, and it's pretty much more of a numbers game. So if you just put the time and the effort in, you could be very successful. So
Yeah.
that's why I've had some customers that before I was in the car business, I was in the office equipment business. So, for I started my career with a company called MCS Canon. So later it turned into Canon Business Solutions, but it was a subsidiary of Canon USA. And that subsidiary, we sold, copy machines and printers. And back in that day, we were also selling fax machines. So, but
It, it's not easy. Sales are
no,
definitely not easy.
it's not. But but I learned to, build relationships with customers. And my point to this is that I still have customers to this day that have been buying from me, since like 1999 when I started in the business. So,
Wow.
I still have customers that have stayed with me all these years, you know?
It's interesting. Now they shifted from one thing to another. Then now you're selling cars. So it's pretty cool that they're following you because they're a fan base.
Yeah. So, I mean, the biggest thing was, after COVID, it was very, very difficult. And I just like, just like it was for everybody. But I had such a passion for cars, even when I was a kid, I knew everything about cars. I knew, I didn't know anything about classic cars, but I knew everything about new cars. And I knew the horsepower, the torque, the options in cars, and everything, about, new cars coming out. So it was always just a passion of mine, and I kept up with it. And, after being in the office equipment business for 25 years, I decided to, do what my passion was. And, I had hooked up, because I've been with Carjoy a little over 3 years now, and I'm pretty much doing what I love to do
That's a
is, You know, I mean, most people hate shopping for cars. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. You know, even when I got cars for myself, even when I got cars for myself, I would always, you know, I would call different dealers, try and get the best deal, try and figure out what the, you know, what the best way to attain that car.
Yep.
And, you know, when most people dread doing that, I loved it.
Oh, yeah, I
Absolutely
know.
loved it.
To me, I got to tell you, I don't want to go to the dealer ever again. It's just so it just the stress, the anxiety, and dealing with people making you hold. They got to go back and the financing, talking to this person. It just you spend the whole day, and it was
Yep.
just such a whole process that it just like when you want to buy something, you just buy and that's it. They don't, when buying something like with a car, they make you wait and go through the whole process. You could be there for hours,
Yeah.
and
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 they could
somebody,
also, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Juan, but
yeah,
what I was going to say is, and it's also, you could, you know, dealers can sometimes be very deceiving on the information that they give you. And then you spend hours at the dealer, and then all of a sudden you finally, you know, set a deal together, you know, put a deal together. And
yeah,
then now you got to sit down with the finance manager, and then they got to sell you a whole bunch of stuff. So it can
exactly.
be very frustrating.
Exactly. But that's why it's important to your point, doing business with people that you know, like, and trust. So building those relationships are very important. So this way you could make a friend and a friend will help you along the way, and so
Absolutely.
that's really important to have that. So I totally agree with that. And then the other thing about being consistent too, like you said, being consistent and in sales, like you said, it's a numbers game and being consistent at it. I know people normally give up in the first, say if 100 calls, 100 people, they give up after 20 rejections, but it's just, it just takes that one deal.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, like you said, as long as you do a good job and you make those people happy, they're going to keep coming back to you, and they're going to tell their, you know, if they have a good experience with you, they're going to tell their friends and family
Yeah,
about you, and that's the whole point. You know, we always want to make sure, you know, that we always, you know, if you do the right thing, it will come back to you.
exactly. Now I want to talk about the networking groups. Thank you so much for becoming a WOW member, and thank you so much for that. And do you
For
belong
having
to
me.
any other networking communities or organizations?
So I used to belong to a BNI group a few years ago before COVID hit, and then when COVID did hit, and nobody could meet in person anymore, we pretty much we I had a group on a Thursday afternoon that maybe 10 or 12 or 15 people that we just all decided to go on a Zoom call. You know, there were no fees. We were all very friendly together. We knew each other for a while, and we would just get online at the same time every week and just pretty much do what we were doing when we met.
Excellent. Um, let's talk about Carjoy now. we leave the best for last. So tell us about Carjoy.
Yeah, so Carjoy was developed little was started a little over 3 years ago. We have four partners in the company, and between everybody, you know, we have over almost 40 years of car, you know, of experience in the car business. And we just wanted to change the game, make it different than what everybody's used to as far as going to a dealership and, you know, wanting to pull their hair out of their head. So we have created relationships, fantastic relationships with a lot of the dealers in the Northeast. So all makes and models. You know, we have, let's say, maybe three or four different Chevrolet dealerships, three different Acura dealerships, and so on and so forth. And because we sell so many cars, we get unbelievable discounts. So we're getting thousands of dollars under MSRP, where if you were to walk into a dealer, you know, they're going to charge you MSRP. You might get a little under MSRP, but the bottom line is you're going to still pay a lot more, and it's more of a grueling process.
Can you give us an example of a client that you just recently helped out?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I can tell you is I had a woman who was not in a great financial situation, and she was way over mileage on her lease. She still had about 6 months left on her lease, but she owed like, almost $8,000 in overage.
Wow. Wow.
So she saw an ad that we posted on Facebook. And when she sent me the information on her vehicle, we ran the vehicle and we saw that she had equity in her car. So by us purchasing her car, she automatically wasn't responsible for that $8,000 that she owed
Wow. That's a
because we
relief.
bought the vehicle.
Yeah.
So that was completely null and void. So we saved her a tremendous amount of money. She even had some money left over to use to pay for a new car for her upfront fees. So it covered her first payment, her taxes, her bank fee. So you're talking like another $3,000+ that we were able to give her towards her new car. So it was a no-brainer. She was extremely thankful. We did everything from start to finish. And what really topped it off, which is why I still get referrals from her today, is that we actually not only did everything for her, but we also delivered the car right to her house. She didn't even have to leave her living room. We
Wow.
basically just brought the car in. We had all the paperwork. We showed her how to use the car, and she was so thankful. And, we got her out of a situation where she really was in trouble. Most people don't realize, they think that when their lease is up, they just return their car. So that's why I tell people, don't just return your car, give us a call. We're the experts. We do this every day. We
Hey, you
price
have
up
the
the cars. We know exactly what we're doing.
and you have the relationships with all these dealers.
And we have
So
relationships with the dealers. So we pretty much change the game in the car buying process, you know.
amazing.
So people
Amazing.
don't have to, listen, if people want to go and buy a car, if people want to go and look at cars, they can go to the dealership and test drive if that's what they want to do. But when it comes down to, the nitty-gritty, we take care of all that from start to finish.
You
We get the insurance done, we deliver the car, we do everything from A to Z.
all right. So if you don't want no stress or anxiety, what's the best way to contact you, Ross? What's the best way people could reach you?
Best way people can reach me is just either text me or call me. Phone number is 631-466-7410. And you could, text me, call me. I'm usually, most days I'm sometimes on the phone till 10 o'clock at night. So, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. One of the biggest things, with me knowing about cars so much and knowing this business, is that when I talk to a specific customer and I find out what their needs are, I immediately understand their situation and can give them their best options on what can be done in order for them to obtain a car at the best price. So, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you and I'd love to help you out.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Ross. Thank you for sharing your story today. And if you want to be a guest on Winning on Wednesday, simply go to our website, winningonwednesday.com, and sign up as a first-time guest. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Ross. See you.
Thank you.